We begin with the State Department confirming the arrest of a Bakersfield native in Russia. 2 days ago, former Bakersfield resident Michael Travis Leake was arrested in Moscow for allegedly possessing and selling drugs, according to Russian news media reports. The reports said Leake is suspected of selling methadone, which gives users similar effects like that of cocaine and MDMA. The State Department said they're, quote, aware of a U.S. native being arrested in Russia and said when a U.S. citizen is detained overseas, the department pursues consular access as soon as possible and works to provide all appropriate consular assistance, end quote. Today, 23 ABC's Veronica Morley spoke with Leake's mother, Glenda Garcia, about her son's arrest in Russia. Take a listen.
How did you come to learn that your son had been arrested?
I woke up Saturday morning to a text message from a correspondent with ABC in London, apologizing for contacting me under such circumstances and asking me to either send a picture or confirm that it was the Facebook account she had snapshot was his Facebook account. And I told her it was, but why? So then I tried to contact my son on WhatsApp, and then I actually found out by starting to Google his name.
What was your initial reaction?
I was pretty shocked. I really didn't even know how to react, what to do. I just am devastated, but I don't know any facts, so.
Have you since been in touch with the State Department?
The State Department contacted me this morning. I found out he does have an attorney. He does speak English, they said. And he gave me, some information about what's gone on so far.
As far as the details that they were able to give you about in regards to his arrest, was that surprising to you? How did you handle some of that?
Well, I had seen a video of his actual arrest early Saturday morning from the ABC correspondent in London. And that's kind of hard to see, because it was kind of breaking into his place and taking him to the ground and then arrest. And they were questioning him in Russian, which I didn't understand, but he does. He speaks fluent Russian. And he was answering in English, though.
And obviously, this isn't the first report that we've seen of an American citizen being arrested in Russia. How do you feel about the charges? Do you think that there's any truth to them?
I hope there is not, and I hope they're able to prove that there is not. I just pray that he's treated humanely, and because he said they did, beat him when they arrested him.
Tell me when he first traveled there.
When he first traveled to Russia, he was going on YouTube and translating Russian rock songs into English lyrics, and a Russian rock group contacted him. They wanted him to come over when he could and write their first English CD. He was able to get a job at a teaching school that sent teachers out to big companies like Johnson & Johnson over there in different companies. And on the side, he managed the rock group. That was in 2010 he went to Russia. He came back sometime in 2014, then he decided to go back. He went back in January of 2017, and I haven't seen him since. I kept asking him, are you worried about being over there when the war broke out? And he says, Mom, I assure you, I'm safe. I know where to go, where not to go, and how to behave,
Do you think that that's played a part in leading up to your son's arrest right now?
I have no idea. I don't have any idea.
As his mother, what do you think maybe might be going through his head right now?
I'm sure he wants out. He might want to call this home again. He did manage to get a call to the embassy. So they said he might be creative. He might be able to figure out a way to get a call to me, but they doubted it. They doubt that the Russians would facilitate that.
Kind of talked about, obviously, the last few days, there's just been an influx of information and information being put out by media, and people are trying to sift through what's correct and what's not. You've mentioned a
couple little things that probably really doesn't matter in the scheme of things of the trouble he's in, but like he was not a paratrooper. He was in the Air Force. I believe he was in some kind of maintenance. He did not serve in Iraq. And like I say, I've had a lot of texts and phone calls, but everybody's been nice and polite and just trying to do their jobs, but it's just overwhelming.
I know we've said that it might be a while before you're able to talk to your son. You're hoping to speak to his attorney tonight. Right. But as far as any messages you want to send to your son or anything you'd want him to know right now, what would you like to say?
That I love him no matter what, and I'd like him home.